Good morning, everyone. It's a happy Monday. Let's begin with this good word. Let us spur one another towards love and good deeds. Let us spur one another, encourage one another, motivate one another towards love and good deeds. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Mark Your Day. Good morning, Kuya Richard Sochan. Good morning, Tita Beng Wolf. Good morning, Tita Ina Islas. Good morning, Ate Ina from Australia. Good morning, Marian Alfred Rivera Tagaro and the Tags team and the Tags family in Ozamis. And good morning, Kuya James Bayeta from Surigao. Imagine we are joined by people from all over the country and all over the world, all wanting to learn how to motivate our kids and our workmates. Let's talk about how to motivate people. But before that, let's ask everyone, how's your Monday coming along, my friends? Early Monday, malapit na daw po ma-flatten yung curve sa Pilipinas. Are we doing something that works? Are we doing something that's not working? What are we planning to do in order to hit the road running once the restrictions are lifted at mag-normalize yung buhay natin? Kumusta ang ating negosyo? Kumusta ang ating mga pamilya? Pwede natin pag-usapan yan sa umagang ito. Kaya kung meron kayong mga kaibigan who might benefit from a discussion on motivation, go ahead and share this link to them. You can also catch this on YouTube. We will repost this later after the show para pwede pong panoorin ulit. All right, but before we talk about motivation, how to motivate our children, how to motivate our teammates, how to motivate our family members, let's talk about the news first. Let's go to the news. Ano bang nasa balita sa umagang ito? Let's check the headlines from some of our big dailies. But before we check the headlines of the big dailies, let's get an update from DOH. Ano po ang balita mula sa DOH? Ito po ang latest from yesterday, 3,372 newly reported cases, 1,307 from Metro Manila, 240. Sorry, I think my mic was off earlier. I'm so sorry. Okay, good morning again, since that's a big technical glitch. Oh my goodness. You know what? When I was with before, somebody checked if my mic was on, but since I'm here, although I was told by Trisha, turn on your mic earlier, I did not follow her. I thought I just turned the knob a bit louder. Good morning, Kuya Richard, Ate Beng, Ate Ina, the Tagaro family, and Kuya James Bayeta and Kuya Mel Chan. So this is the update coming from the DOH. All right. Good morning, Nancy. Bulacan, 147. Negros Occidental, 199. Laguna, 207. Cavite, 240. 1,307. Although this report, I noticed, doesn't include anymore the number of laboratories reporting out of the total labs. They used to have that detail there in that slide, but they don't have it anymore. So, yun po ang ating cases. Pagdasal po natin tuloy-tuloy. Irene Abrea, good morning. Pagdasal natin yung ating mga kababayan dahil tumataas din yung critical cases and severe cases. And I suspect that these might be cases in areas where access to medicine and access to medical facilities are not as good. Kaya kung meron po tayong oportunidad na manatili dito sa Metro Manila. Dito lang po tayo kasi at sa Metro Cebu. Good morning, Uncle Henry Daut, and good morning to my dearest brother-in-law, Vincent Pansacola Medina. Good morning po. A happy Monday to everyone. Let us face this week with optimism and joy and thankfulness in our hearts. Let's check the news from the big nailies of the country. Okay? Mga balita mula sa Manila Standard. Okay? Philippine government deports U.S. soldier. So si Pemberton is on his way to the U.S. He was picked up by a C-130 Air Force plane. This is not a regular plane. So he is on his way home. So he's deported, but he's actually released. The U.S. Embassy says, though, that Pemberton actually served his term because the sentence was 6 years and 1 day to 12 years. That's the full sentence. So, ang sinabi, while Duterte pardoned him, he actually served the minimum period of his term. So, napaaga lang yung pag-release. Hindi na niya binuo yung 12 at within that period, pwede naman siyang ma-release according to the U.S. Embassy. Good morning, Ate Divon Pili Manabat. Good morning, the dear HR of one of the top corporations of the Philippines. And she does a show every Friday. She calls it Friday. Thanks for joining us today. All right. So, Manila Standard says the guy is on his way. PGH Doc sees woes in revised social distancing. According to, there's a news article there as well, because they will be reducing the distance in public transport regulations. Remember that jeepneys and buses and MRTs had to create seating arrangements according to the standard set by the IATF. So ngayon, iiklian daw po yan. In the next 2 weeks, paikli na paikli. Pero buti na lang, meron ako nabasa kanina, according to a health expert, it's really the mask. It's really a good mask that can prevent COVID from entering our body. Because if you have your nose and mouth covered, and then if you have eyewear, yun yung main na pinapasukan ng virus na droplets. Kaya if you consistently and diligently wear your mask properly, then you can be assured na hindi ka makakakuha nitong COVID. And then of course, you wash your hands since you're touching. Never touch your face. Those are some of the headlines news from the Manila Standard. Moving on to the Philippine Star. Pemberton leaves the Philippines. It's the same news article. This just provides where he was incarcerated. Ito si Pemberton, kinulong pala dito sa JUSMAG facility, yung joint US and Philippine coordinating office. There's an office there where the Philippines and the American soldiers could coordinate if they need to, and you could find that inside Camp Aguinaldo. So this Pemberton was not really in a regular jail. He was not in a regular jail. He was in prison within a military facility because he was caught committing a criminal act while on official military duty here in the Philippines as part of the US-Philippines military exercises. And covered po yan nung agreement, nung ating joint exercises agreement. Kaya ang may custody po yung Amerikano pa rin. So yun yung technical na kino-complain na maraming tao na kapag nag-commit ng crime sa Pilipinas, dapat punta yan sa regular jail. Pero syempre yung mga Amerikano would not agree to that. Sabi nila, sige, ikukulong namin pero hindi namin ikukulong doon sa regular jail, or ipapakulong namin pero hindi doon sa regular Philippine jail. So kinulong nila ito doon sa Camp Aguinaldo, doon din sa facility ng mga Amerikano, pero at least nakulong pa rin. At least nakulong pa rin. Hindi yung nakawala na lang. Good morning, Tito Gilbert Lazaro, Tito Vlogs. Thanks for joining us on this beautiful Monday morning. Easing of distance rule defended. I hope we could really keep the cases low, because if it spikes again, it will defeat the projections of the UP experts saying that we have flattened the curve, and if this trend continues, it could be a COVID-free Christmas. But Migo says I should not use COVID. It's a pandemic-free Christmas. My little boy yesterday just texted his mom. Sabi niya, "Mom, please tell Dad not to use COVID-19 in his broadcasts because he might get demonetized." I'm not even monetized yet, but my little boy is concerned that I might get demonetized. He's saying that some cases, the use of COVID and how you hype things up could get you demonetized. Maybe because they're watching how in the US in particular, how the messaging on COVID is brought out to the public. So thank you, Migo, for reminding Dad to be careful with these terms. And Lolo Nems has also been reminding me, careful with generalizations and general statements. So ang dami kong editor dito sa show na ito. There's Trishos watching me, Migo who's watching me, and my Lolo Nems, Daddy Nems also watching the show. And everyone as well. Uncle Henry, make sure that the sound is nice. Thanks, everyone. Okay. So, Pemberton leaves. He is again he was incarcerated within Camp Aguinaldo, and then he left yesterday. Tapos sabi nga ni Secretary ng DFA, wala daw pong hininging kapalit ang Pilipinas. Pero sabi ni Secretary Roque, yung intent daw ni Presidente nito, intent is the key term used, was to make sure that we will somehow get favors from the US if a vaccine is made available. Laude Camp wishes Pemberton peace of mind. Duda ko dito, meron niyang monetary. Siyempre binayaran naman, in order naman ng court yon na i-compensate yung family. At nagbayad na yung hindi ko alam kung si Pemberton mismo or sinalo ito ng US government. I am not privy to those things, but there was a compensation paid to the family of Laude for the crime committed and the violation of kanilang peace of mind, kanilang moral at kanilang emotional stability. Okay, last but definitely not the least, let's check the news from the Philippine Daily Inquirer. This is actually very good. Metro cemeteries closed during Undas. The Metro Manila Council of Mayors agreed that there will be no regular celebration of Undas this year, and so they announced it early so that people could go visit their loved ones in the various cemeteries of Metro Manila even before Undas, para po hindi po tayo magsiksikan sa mga sementeryo during Undas, because that could certainly facilitate the spread of COVID if we don't observe social distancing, simply because of the density of people in that area during Undas. Good morning, Ate Colleen. If you're in Metro Manila, you have family members buried in any of the cemeteries, please do visit before the crowds flock into the various cemeteries. So weekdays usually is nice. You know why I know this? I used to run in the Loyola Memorial Park. It's a nice place to run at in the morning. And I know even the cemetery at C5, I can see a lot of runners exercising there in the morning. It's nice and quiet, open, wide roads. So visit your loved ones before Undas. This is a very good move on the part of Manila mayors. Very good. I would suggest that the provincial mayors follow as well. Good morning, Kuya J. Ryan Baul. Thank you very much for saying hi, my friends. If you're watching, I would be happy if you would say hi. So, Yes, no undas celebrations. That's another victim. That tradition is another victim of this pandemic. So, visit before the actual dates of the undas. All right. Those are the headlines coming from the big dailies of the Philippines. And so let's go to what's trending and know what's interesting, which is the topic for today. We will be talking about motivation. We will be talking about how to motivate our kids and how to motivate our workmates. Because when people are motivated, they perform beyond what they think they are capable of doing. Good morning, Tita Jeje Quizon and the Quizon family. Good morning, Abel Pakulan. Good morning, everyone. So let's talk about motivation and how we make sure that people exceed their own expectations and people exceed the standards even set by the school, exceed the standards even set by their workmates. So it's important for us. Are we all okay, Trisha? Yes, there I okay, it did not. Is it not as clear today? Okay, from the laptop it's okay, but from the mobile it's not okay. Let's check the resolution according to my dear Trisha of before we proceed with the discussion today. So, is that clear now? I believe that's clear now. Okay. Now, my friends, motivation is not something that happens out of nowhere. Motivation can be created. Motivation can be rolled out by a leader, whether you're leading a home or you're leading an office. How do you motivate people? Now, we usually conduct trainings on motivational leadership for an entire day at least, or 2 days, even 3 days at some in some cases. So how to motivate people will have a lot of elements. Now, marami kang aspeto. Meron kang skill part, paano mo gagawin ito. Meron kang policy part, paano mo siya i-enforce, etc. Good morning, Ate Ruth Villanueva from Butuan City. So, ibig sabihin, yung maraming aspeto ng motivation, posibleng hindi natin kayang i-cover in 30 minutes or 40 minutes of this talk today. So, what I want you to do is this. I want you to ask questions. So, if you have questions specific to your family motivation concerns, please just type them down in the comment section so I can respond to them. Because the most that I can do for you today is really provide you the key elements of motivation. The key elements of motivation is what I could cover within the next 30 to 40 minutes. So again, if you have questions, please feel free to type down in the chat area below. All right? So, thank you, Uncle Henry. Uncle Henry says, everything is great. Sound is great. Picture and angle, great. Yes, Uncle Henry, I wish I could share you how to do this. In the coming days, again, I promise that we will be offering a lecture, a seminar on how to exactly do this in your home setup, what you need to do, the lighting, the sound, the layout, etc., so that your webinars and your trainings or even your Zoom calls will be perfect. Okay, so what are the key elements of motivation? How do you make sure that your kids are motivated, that your workplace will be motivated? The first very important element of motivation, my friends, is really the environment. It needs to be a motivating environment. That's number one. If the environment in your home, if the environment at work is not motivating, no matter how you try to motivate with your words and actions, it might not work. So number one is creating a motivating environment. So what do I mean by a motivating environment? Pero alam nyo yung meron kayong pinapasukan minsan na bahay na pagpasok mo pa lang, masisense mo na parang hindi sila masaya. Magandang bahay. Pero meron kang pupuntahan namang mga bahay na kahit na hindi kalakihan yung bahay, hindi mayaman yung pamilya, pero pagpasok mo doon, alam mong masaya sila, alam mong nagmamahalan sila. It's something that's sometimes it's both tangible and intangible. This environment is both tangible and intangible. So, let's break it down a bit. When you're talking about the environment at the D of Mega World Corp, paano po, Uncle Henry, Jemima, when you're talking about establishing an environment, number one is what you call the physical environment. So in order for a physical environment to be motivating, let's say for studying, if you're motivating them towards study, then you want to make sure that the place where they're studying is something that's conducive for studying. Hindi maingay, hindi magulo, hindi makalat, hindi mabaho, hindi mausok. So it's the environment that you create is something that should be angkop para dun sa gagawin. Kasi, for example, if it's a place where you want people to be creative, so if it's a place where you want people to be creative, then you want to have an environment that will trigger creativity. Color, sound, spaces, shapes, ganun yung iisipin mo. So, ibig sabihin, yung environment napakahalaga. If you want them to be active, so you create an environment that is so. So, the environment, the physical environment is important. Hindi kailangan gumastos. Kailangan lang ayusin. Hindi kailangan maraming pera. Kailangan lang pag-isipan. Again, yung environment dapat angkop dun sa gusto mong gawin or i-create na motivation. Motivated to study? Anong environment yon? Anong naiisip nyo? Ano yung best? At ano yung pwede mo silang itanong? Sila mismo ang mag-create ng sarili nilang space. Sila mismo yung mag-create ng sarili nilang environment. Iba't ibang opisina, iba't ibang environment. So for example, meron kang ad agency. Yung environment ng ad agency, ibang-iba dun sa IT company. Yung environment ng sales company, ibang-iba naman dun sa mga engineering design company. So ang importante lang pag-isipan na yung environment nakaka-apekto sa motivation ng tao. Pangalawang aspeto ng environment ito. While you have your physical environment, it's important, this is more important, the environment of the relationships of people there. The relationship environment. How are they feeling towards one another? Kasi kahit na napakaganda ng lugar, kung the relationship environment is not good, it's not positive, hindi siya, magiging okay. Halimbawa, ang physical environment mo nagsa-study. Yung isa nag-aaral. Yung tatlo naglalaro. So yung relationship nila, ano ba talaga? Are we here to study or are we here to play? So hindi siya nagiging okay. So dapat sensitive sila sa isa't isa to make sure that they are also relationship-wise, person-to-person-wise, helping motivate one another. Okay, here's one thing for leaders. People, more than the physical environment, want to feel two things. They want to feel respected. They want to feel cared for. When you respect them and you sincerely care for them, they will be motivated. When you respect them, you respect their potential, you respect their capabilities, and when they're feeling down, you care for them. That will build an environment that will motivate them. So love and care will go a long way for motivating people, for motivating children. Ito po 'yon. Sa ating mga anak, kung mafe-feel nila na mas mahalaga sa atin yung grades kaysa sa kanila, hindi 'yun magiging okay. Kung nasisense ng mga tauhan natin na mas mahalaga yung kita kaysa tao, Hindi yun magiging okay. Magiging oppressive siya. Posibleng ma-achieve mo yung mga targets mo. Posibleng makuha mo yung iyong mga bottom line figures. Pero posibleng hindi magtagal ang mga tao. Posibleng hindi magiging masaya ang mga tao. Posibleng wala silang reklamo, pero hindi sila masaya. So napakahalaga po yung relationship environment doon. So love people, care for people. So sa ating pag-aaral, for example, tinutulungan mo yung bata. Kapag nasisense ng bata na talagang na-frustrate ka, ang gusto mo, mas mahalaga pa sa iyo ngayon na matapos yung homework kahit na talagang binatukan mo, talagang binugbog mo na yung bata. How does that motivate the child? Then it becomes about that homework, not about the learning. It's about the homework, not about personal growth. It's about the grade, not about your child. If it's your team, alam mo yun, napakahirap kung puro na lang pera, puro na lang products at wala kang respeto at pag-aalaga. Kasi pag ganon, hindi magiging masaya. Kapag inalagaan mo yung mga tao, aalagaan nila ang negosyo mo. Ganon lang kasimple. Kapag inalagaan mo ang iyong mga empleyado, sila nang bahala sa negosyo mo. Totoo yun. Sabi ni Richard Branson, in fact, during these very difficult times, dun mo makikita ang mga taong talagang feeling inalagaan. Ito, I'll give you an example. Yung Mega World Corp, Andrew Tan. Tinayo niya yung Mega World Corp during a crisis, mga late 90s. Tinamaan yan siya nung World Financial Crisis. Yung una niyang development sa Eastwood. Pero dahil alaga niya yung mga tao niya, hindi siya iniwan ng mga tao niya even though during the worst times. Alam mo, yung key people doon, nandyan pa rin. Kasama niya pa rin ngayon. At yung isa sa pinakamataas na posisyon niya na hindi family member, yung mismo COO na Mega World, kasama niya since back then. So ngayon na dumadaan sila sa crisis, they're still motivated to help the company. Why? Because the owner took care of them, respects them, motivates them. So, again, the environment, the physical environment, and number 2, the relationship environment. Make sure you value people over the homework. Make sure you value people over the grade. Make sure you value people over just the bottom line products. Because we work with people, and the products that we make are for people. And so if we're a businessman, we're a leader, it's no longer about people who make the products or do the service and people who receive the products and enjoy the service. Then we become a shrewd, money-making, focused businessman who will not motivate people around us. Okay? Meron ko kayong question. Again, I would like to remind you, if you have questions, please just type that down the comment section below. If you have specific questions for your kids, dahil nga hindi ko pwedeng makover lahat ng topics dito, please type. Jillian, good morning. Cecilia, good morning. And Rose Ann, good morning to everyone. Roseanne Guillermo. Okay? Also, Doc Jemima D. Jemima, please take care of yourself only. Uncle Henry says, would love to have it in my library. Yes, Uncle Henry, you need to have your good setup because you do it a lot, and I can see that in the near future you will be doing it more and more, not just here but internationally. So you better have a good setup that can make you more effective. Okay? So, if you have questions, please type them down. Ferds Brigera, physical environment, and what's the other one, bro? The relationship environment, brother. Si Kuya Ferds Brigera has retired from Unilab and is now running a business. So yes, physical environment and the relationship environment. Take care of people. Be genuinely caring for them and respecting them. Okay? Number 2, how do you really motivate people? How do you motivate people? Ito na yung mga how-tos, okay? One very important secret to motivation daw is this. Napakahalaga nito. In order for people to be motivated, They actually need, people actually need, you know what they need? Autonomy. People actually need autonomy. What do I mean by autonomy? People who want to do things on their own, and if they're able to do things on their own, mas mamomotivate sila. Ang taong inuutusan mo lang, ang taong minamandohan mo lang, hindi yun mamomotivate. Ang taong pinipressure mo lang, hindi yun mamomotivate. Ang natural motivation ng tao nanggagaling dun sa decision ko to, paninindigan ko to. Ito yung pinili kong strategy, paninindigan ko to. Ito yung pinili kong pamamaraan, paninindigan ko to. The first time you rode your bike by yourself, the first time you tied your own shoelace by yourself, the first time you cooked rice by yourself, naturally motivating po yun. So, ibig sabihin, as parents and as bosses in our workplaces, we think that we should talagang be so detailed. Hindi siya masyado nakaka-motivate kasi hindi natin nabibigyan ng space yung tao na gamitin yung sarili niyang decisions and strategies and approaches. And when people are able to, people value their freedom. People there value their ideas. People value their own thoughts. And if you can give a space for people's thoughts, ideas, and approaches in your own home and in your workplaces, people will be motivated. Alam nyo, okay, break muna ako. Ito yung transition time na naman ng season eh. Papasok na yung taglamig. Kaya si Kuya Mark, medyo nag-iingat na ako sa aking asthma. Kasi naririnig ko, nararamdaman ko na yung aking rhinitis. At pag nangangati na yung aking muka, ayan na, papasok na yung taglamig. So I'm trying to be careful these days, but I can sense that it's already beginning to irritate me a bit. Ganun lagi pag nag-change ng season. Okay, going back to our topic. If you don't have questions, I will proceed, okay? Autonomy is important. So sa mga bata, para sa amin, kami, ni Trisha, mas mahalaga na sila ang gumawa ng homework, sila ang gumawa ng kanilang schedule kaysa makakuha ng magandang score. Lalo na kapag mga maliliit pa. Habang mas maliliit pa, it's more about developing the love for learning. It's more about developing the love for learning. Yung mga bata, from grade 1 to grade 3, it's all about just loving learning and enjoying learning. From grade 4 to grade 6, that's when you teach them now habits and good discipline. Doon mo na sila tututukan. Pero ang aming paniniwala, from preschool hanggang grade 3, kailangan lang excited silang mag-learn. Excited silang matuto. Mahal nila yung proseso. Excited silang makita ka dahil magsa-study na naman kayo. So, ibig sabihin, yung autonomy nila, when they will do things, saan nila gagawin, that's part of the excitement. Kung pinipressure mo, ito nak masyado kang stricto, nako, magiging walang autonomy, masyadong restricting sa kanila. People are born free, kids are born free, they'd love to explore. So, that's why, bigyan natin sila ng konting autonomy. Okay. Ate Jemima D asks a question. What best motivation approach can I give my adolescents who always excel in school? Ano yung iyong motivational approach? Okay. Ang motivational approach mo talaga sa mga adolescents, Ate Jemima D. Ito yung aking suggestion. Adolescents are beginning to think about their future. Adolescents are beginning to think about who they will become. So, ito yung aking suggestion, Ate Jemima. Your motivation should be towards making them imagine who they can become. Yun siya. They did something great. Ako ang sasabihin ko sa mga bata, no, they did something great. Ito yung malaking difference, Ate Jemima. You can say, ang talino mo talaga. Or you can say, ang ganda nung ginawa mo. Pag yung sinabi mong ang talino mo talaga, parang wala na silang kailangan gawin kasi matalino na talaga ako eh. you understate talent, you overstate effort. You know what I mean? Don't overemphasize yung natural talent. Kung matalino ka, malakas ka, gano'n. It's all about effort. It's all about developing the love for learning, the love for personal growth. So for adolescents, again, they're beginning to discover themselves. They're beginning to define who they are. Now, that's why I will never suggest giving them money, gadgets, travel in exchange for doing something good. Excelling in school, don't give them a gadget. Bakit? Yung halaga ng effort niya nung buong season, naging first honor siya or naging top siya ng school niya, ang halaga nun gadget? Nope. Nope. The value of that is 1,000,000 times more than a gadget. Because if he becomes who he should be, based on his potential, he can buy the best gadget anytime. He can buy the best gadget anytime. So meaning, when we reward or motivate, make sure we don't replace something that is so great with something that is so finite, even if that thing is expensive. You get it? So mag-ingat po tayo na palitan natin yung great joy niya and satisfaction for achieving something and becoming who he imagined himself to be with a gadget. Because that's sad. Should you give a gadget? Yes. Should you give a reward? Yes. But I will not say that gadget is a price for doing something great. No. I will say, you did great. Let's eat. Let's celebrate. Your future will be great. Blah, 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 blah. And then, you can just give a gadget, but you will not say it is because they perform something great. It's just a bonus. It's just something mommy loves to give. And mommy can give it anytime for no reason at all. So, yun yung iingatan natin na dynamic. Okay? Malinaw po yun? Okay, I hope you appreciate that, Ate Jemima D. So, yun po yung atin. So, autonomy is very, very important. Hayaan natin sila dumiskarte. Now, in order to grant them autonomy, what should you do? Autonomy is a question of how and when. How and when. But the what and the why is something that we can clarify. Ano yung dapat mong gawin? Tapusin yung homework. Ano yung, bakit mo kailangan gawin yan? Kasi if you finish your homework, you will develop into a diligent person. You will develop mastery. Why? Why should you do that? So, yung what and the why, yun yung lilinawin natin. You will emphasize anong kailangan mong gawin at bakit mo kailangan gawin. Pero yung how and the when, pwede mong iasa sa kanila. Pwede mo silang tanungin kung ano yung gagawin nila at paano nila gagawin. Pwede kang mag-suggest pero wag mong imando. Pwede kang mag-recommend pero wag mong iutos. Tapos pag hindi nila ginawa yung gusto mong gawin, magagalit ka ngayon. That's not very motivating. Okay? Yun yung pangalawa. Autonomy is very important. So again, leading our companies, guide them in the what they need to do and why they need to do it, but give them space in the how they will do it and the when they will do it. Kasi if you give them space in the when and how, as long as they fulfill the what and the why, malaking bagay po yun para sa kanilang motivation. Okay? You're welcome, Ate Jemima. Watching from Iligan, sino ba ito? Halop family. Okay? Estrada family, welcome. Humawan family, welcome. Teresita, good morning. Okay, again, if you have questions, please feel free to type your questions below so I can answer them because I cannot cover all the elements of motivation. Again, when we do these trainings for companies, it's usually at least 1 day or 2 days. So if your company, if you have friends who need motivational leadership, We have a very nice workshop and we've been doing this for many years. We would be happy if you could help us spread the word to companies. We can do webinars. Pwedeng ganito lang webinars. You can arrange with your friends or you can arrange with your company for doctors, for whatever organization. We would be glad to run it for you. We have the facilities to do that well here for you. Number 3. If you want to motivate people, one of the key secrets of motivation is really this. People will be motivated if they develop mastery. Ano pong ibig sabihin nung mastery? Ang tao, mamomotivate siya kung nasisense niya na gumagaling siya. Natural motivation yun na umaangat ka sa buhay. Natural motivation yun na merong epekto yung ginagawa mo. Kasi yung ginagawa mo at wala kang nakikitang benepisyo, hindi ka gaganahan, mapapagod ka. Kung nag-aaral ka lang nag-aaral at parang hindi mo nasisense that you're growing, that you're really learning, mapapagod ka, hindi ka mamomotivate. Ang taong, halimbawa, nagbabadminton ka. Kung hindi ka makatama ng bola, hindi ka masyado mamomotivate. Pero pag tinuruan ka ni Uncle Henry, at una, mahirap, stroke pa lang, hindi ka pa masyado magaling. But the moment you start hitting it well, the moment naririnig mo na yung tunog ng shuttlecock sa raketa, pumuputok na siya, tapos nagiging effortless na. The more that you will do it with joy and the more you will do it more and more and more. So, ibig sabihin, our focus is to make people feel and know that they are progressing. Na yung effort nila merong resulta, na yung ginagawa nila merong pinupuntahan. So what do we do? Good morning, Marjun de la Serna. Good morning, Ate Idelin from Iligan. And good morning, Cassandra Domingo. Competence and self-efficiency promote self-competence. That's correct. So, ang secret daw doon, Uncle Henry, is a sense of mastery. So, if you're a coach, that's why good coaches, ito ha, I know Uncle Henry knows this. A good coach, you would see the coach by the sidelines, and this is what you hear, whether badminton, ping pong, volleyball, a good coach will shout, "Yan, that's good, keep that up, yan, maganda yan." Kasi the coach wants you to remember when you're executing it right. Yan, very good, yan. The coach would shout when you get it right. Imagine if you have a coach and he keeps shouting every time you do it wrong. So anong maalala ng utak mo? Di every time you do things wrong. But if you do right and then somebody notices, yun pala yung tama. And then you do something great. For example, sa opisina nyo, nag-present siya, nakita mo, tinapik mo siya, maalala niya, yun. Bata, nag-aral, yun. So, ibig sabihin, yung kailangan nating i-trigger na maalala nung tao, maalala nung bata, kung kailan niya ginagawa yung tama. Kaya ang pupunahin natin, ang hahanapin natin, is kung kailan nila ginagawa yung tama. Hindi yung umiikot lang tayo, naghahanap tayo kung kailan sila gumagawa ng mali. Hindi tayo pulis. Kasi kung pulis, every time na nanghuhuli na lang tayo, therefore, every time na nakikita ka niya, you're not a source of motivation, you're a source of pressure. You're a source of galit, you're a source of bad feeling. So kung every time ka nakikita ng anak mo, nare-remind siya na meron siyang ginawang mali, hindi kanya gusto makita, magtatago siya. Kung ikaw ang boss, every time ka nilang makita, wala ka na nakita maganda, hindi na sila magpapakita sa'yo. Itatago na nila pati yung mga mali. But if every time they see you trying to point out how they were better from yesterday, they will look forward to seeing you. They would want to see you. They will miss seeing you. At yun yung napakaganda. Hindi yung naalala ng tao, wala na lang silang nagawang maganda. Mas maganda yung naalala nila na meron silang growth. meron silang growth. So, be generous with your words. Be generous with your words. Okay? Our grandparents and elders, according to Ate Cecilia, are great motivators. Happy Grandparents' Day to all wonderful lolo and lolas around the world. Is it Grandfather's Day? Is it Grandparents' Day today? I didn't know that's a celebration today. So happy Grandparents' Day to everyone. Please take care of our oldies. Yes, grandparents are good motivators kasi they have the freedom to shower you with motivation. Well, ang yung pagdidisiplina nasa atin na yon sa mga magulang. Okay? So napakahalaga na we develop mastery. So sa mga bata, hindi, again, mastery is not about getting the homework correct. No? Mastery is not about getting a score correct. No? Mastery is about getting better at the process. Mastery is about getting better at the discipline. Mastery is getting better at the fundamentals. Kung ma-develop mo yung, halimbawa, merong batang hindi masyado kagalingan yung kanyang grade school. Okay lang. Walang honor-honor. Pero he's growing, he's reading. Hindi rin gano'n. Pero naging summa cum laude, naging magna cum laude sa college. Anong mas okay? Na valedictorian elementary high school, napakagaling ko na. So college, bulakbol na lang ako. O batang hindi masyado pero iminotivate lang ng parents mo elementary high school, naging magna cum laude sa college. Sa tingin nyo, sino makakakuha ng mas magandang trabaho after? Or sino mas magiging mas magaling sa professional life? Malamang yung batang may growth pattern. Hindi yung nag-start sa pataas, pababa. Bakit? Posibleng nag-valedictorian yun dahil ikaw naman gumawa ng homework. Or talagang pre-measure mo. Pero nung nawala ka na sa buhay niya, nag-college na siya at nakawala na siya dun sa pressure mo, nag-relax na siya kasi pagod na siya dun sa pagpe-pressure mo. Hindi yun maganda. Because the joy is autonomy and mastery. So parents, focus more on the character, the process, the love for learning, developing good habits, and loving learning, correcting mistakes, rising up from mistakes on their own. Because if they develop that, they will become better individuals in the future. Merong danger yung napaka-strict na school system natin. May danger yan kasi we're trying to fit everyone into molds. I will give you a confession, okay? When I was in elementary and high school, I was doing okay. Grade 1 to grade 4, I was top 10 in my class. And then when I was in grade 4, I discovered other things in my life that distracted me from academics. I started playing badminton a lot every afternoon. I started doing public speaking. I started oration, ganon. I started reading. Now, those things took some time from my pure academic learning. Did my parents force me to keep my honor status? No. So when I graduated from grade 6, I had nothing. I did not get anything. I had no reward. But I knew I was okay. That's why when I took the entrance exam for the high school, science high school in our place, I was top 3 in the entrance exam. When I got into high school, I was in a science high school. I still love badminton. Nadagdagan pa ng table tennis. Nabaliw pa ako sa table tennis. So we were playing a lot of table tennis. But we were also writing a lot of poetry. We were also doing a lot of other things. Ako as a person. Why? Because that's me. And my parents saw me to be that. I had so many activities. So when I graduated from high school, did I have an award? None. Zero award. But when I got into college, I really enjoyed it so much. In college, I was able to do varsity, table tennis, and then badminton. In college, I was able to do debates. In college, I was able to do student council. In college, I was also able to excel academically. Why? Because my parents allowed me that autonomy when I was young. They did not pressure me. They allowed me to. So when I graduated from college, I got an award. 10 outstanding students of the Philippines. So, did it come soon? No. Did it come with so much? No. They gave me freedom, but they encouraged me. They provided me a space. So all of these things I really saw my parents do for me, and that's what I'm trying to do with my kids as well. So again, it's not parents, elementary and high school credentials actually don't count much. Don't count much. The credential that counts more for graduate studies, kung gusto nilang mag-masters, kung gusto nilang magtrabaho in a top corporation, kung gusto nilang, kung ano man, the credential that matters more is your college credential, not your elementary and high school credential. That's why my encouragement to you is make them grow, make them take that path rather than force them to be so pressured, and it will stagnate them and they get tired of studying and tired of you, and then they will go down. I've seen so many people who are like that. So it's important for you to encourage them. I saw you, Attorney Mark, sa MSU Engler debate ata yun. I think you saw me, Cecilia, deliver an oral interp. MSU Engler was where I did a lot of poetry reading and poetry interps in college. Lastly, big secret to motivation is this. If you want to motivate people, it's really about purpose. It's really about purpose. Why are you doing it? Why are you doing it? If the purpose is not clear, you might do it for a few years, but you will lose track of that goal. You will not sustain it. You will not continue doing it because it's the purpose that sustains your excellence. If, for example, your purpose in putting up a business is just to make money, when problems come, you might not persevere. When the purpose of doing business or leading is all about a certain project, hindi siya higher purpose, you will not exceed. People who did great things in their lives had actually a purpose beyond themselves. So the purpose that we share with our children, the purpose that we share with our workmates should be something much higher than them. I was growing up, and I would encourage you to do this. The purpose is really to please the Lord, to please God, to make God happy. Because He is it is in Him we live and move and have our being. Nothing that we do that can be possible without His blessing. Nothing. So my goal is really to make Him happy. If you make God happy with whatever you do, what is the effect of that? The effect of that is you are elevating the standard. You are elevating the standard of your excellence. Not just what you think, not just what people around you think. You're always thinking, how can I be excellent for the Lord? Then you're elevating it really high. So whenever people tell you that clamps down on you, telling you na hindi ka pwede, no. Because if the children, alam mo, naiinis nga ako dun sa nanay ko dati. Kahit na anong competition na sinalihan ko, nanalo na ako ng ganito, nanalo na ako dyan, lagi lang sinasabi, ayog yun pang hinambog, ang ginuurag yun, para sa ginuurag yun tanan. Translation, wag ka talagang magmayabang. Kahit na anong achievement mo. Para sa Panginoon lang talaga lahat. It's all because of the Lord. Para sa Kanya lang talaga lahat. That way, you will be motivated by the standard of perfection. So sa mga bata, para sa Panginoon, make the Lord smile. That He is making you use your brain, your body, to worship Him and make Him thankful. You can also use it for the country. You can also use it to motivate your parents, to make your school proud. Those are good purposes as well. Malinaw din yon. Hindi lang yung, remember, sabi sa Bible, do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Because if your motivation, your purpose is to lift yourself up, it's not very good, and it's going to make you bitter. It's going to make you bitter because certainly people around you will be better than you. Okay? So, do it for a higher purpose. Number one, so let's review a bit. Create that environment, physical environment. Ayusin depending sa goal. Kung creative, create a creative space. If it's studying, plastar, ayusin. I-set mo yung environment so it can be conducive for learning. But there's number two environment, the relationship environment. Care for them. The relationship environment of respect and love should be there, because if people are cared for and loved, they know they are more valuable than the activity. That's why they're more motivated to do it. Number two, autonomy. Clarify the what they need to do and why they need to do it, but give them space in how they will do it and when they will do it. Allow them some space. Guide them. Ask them questions. Suggest to them. But wag mong imando, wag mo lang utusan, wag mo lang i-pressure kasi hindi yun nakaka-motivate. Number three, it's not about a score. It's not about a grade. It's not just about the product. It's all about mastery. Mastery can be developed over time. Effort to become better over time. Not just the score now. The goal is that they're studying better, they're performing better, they're more disciplined, they're learning better. Makikita mo yung effort towards mastery. Mastery is not a score. Mastery is actually a process. You go through life trying to become better one step at a time. So guide them through that process of mastery and make them love the effort towards mastery. And I shared it earlier to Ate Jemima. Don't reward mastery with a product or a money or what. Don't, because mastery has value way beyond just a product or money. You want to give them money, give them money. You want to give them a gadget, give them a gadget. You want to give them a prize or treat them, yes, go ahead. But don't say na yun ang katumbas, ang equivalent ng mastery nila, because it is not. It is not. Okay? Lastly, purpose. Do it for a higher purpose. Do everything as unto God. That way you will blow out the lid. You will blow out the limits of what you are capable of doing. There are no limits if you're after making God smile. There are no limits if you're after the perfection that God wants you to achieve. Why? Because it is your offering to Him, your good work. Okay, Jillian says, message ko po kayo ni Ate Trek webinar for my team. Yes, Jillian, we will be very, very happy. We would like to ask you to help us spread the word that we're doing different kinds of webinars, and our rates are adjusted based on the capability of organizations and based on the number of people, based on the amount of time we spend. But I would ask you to help us spread the word to everyone so that we could make sure that we maximize the use of this space, and also we could sustain our team and also share information and knowledge to everyone. Thanks very much, everyone. Ang sabi ni Kuya Melchan, man's chief end is to glorify God and to enjoy Him forever. Yes, if we are able to do that, then our own limited brain, our own limited capabilities will exceed their own limits. Kasi para sa Diyos eh. Para sa Diyos eh. You can do great deeds beyond what you could think of given your limited imagination. Okay? So yun po yung ating show sa araw na ito. Do you have questions? I can give a few minutes to entertain questions. If you have questions, please type them down in the comments below. Please type them down in the comments below. If you have need for a training in your company, please email us at learn@teamarete.org. Yan po yung aming email. Or you can send me a message. You can send me a message. Again, we will do it for small organizations, big organizations, corporations, government organizations, LGUs. If you're connected with an LGU, please feel free to let us know how we can do this for you, because that would make us very, very happy. Okay, so God bless, my friends. Motivate others. Make sure that you provide an environment that's motivating. You're allowing people to grow. into mastery, and then finally make sure it's always for a higher purpose. God bless you, dear friends. Keep safe. Have a great week ahead. Don't ever forget to keep safe and make sure that you hit the road running once the restrictions are lifted. Ingat po tayo. Stay excellent. Stay motivated. God bless.